takes for sure. There's no turning back anymore. Can you see it's all a game? Life goes on all the same. If at first you don't succeed, all you've got is all you need. If you believe, then stake your claim.
Hello, Rise and Thrivers. Welcome to Monday night, July 28th. It is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Can you believe that it is that time again for Rise and Thrive Together? So welcome. If you are a first timer, welcome to the show. And for those who continue to be committed guests, thanks for being here. Let me tell you about Rise and Thrive Together. We are a vibrant community committed to educate, empower, and equip you to get the results that you want. How? Through real talk and taking real actions. Let's have that happen for you now. We have this amazing channel. If you're watching us on YouTube, Rise and Thrive Together. We also have a Facebook page, Rise and Thrive Together, where you can watch us. And we have this private community called Rise and Thrive Together Community. If you haven't ever joined us, join us in there. We've got a lot of stuff that we're really going to ramp up the second half of the year with you and throw some stuff in there. So you definitely want to get in there, from really great challenges to some sneak peeks about some stuff that's coming up. And you never know when Raquel and I jump on there and come and speak to you. So with that being said, I'm super excited to bring my second half on there. What's up, sis? Hello, Raquel. Raquel, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I had a great weekend. It was filled with some eye-opening information and just still. So now I can't hear. There we go.
Yeah,
I
we're
think
back.
you're back.
Woohoo!
Awesome.
All right. So you said you had a great weekend and some eye-opening. Eye-opening what?
Just information. I took part in a study on, it was about psychosomatic therapy, and I was actually the client, and that was absolutely amazing. And after that, I went and had lunch with an amazing pastor for 5 hours. We had a 5-hour lunch, and some eye-opening information was disclosed. So between the psychosomatic session and the 5-hour lunch with the pastor, it was absolutely incredible.
Well, I'm just curious, and I'm clear that if some of the audience is listening, what can you share about psychosomatic?
So it's basically being in tune with your body and your emotions. So he's started off by asking, what's the intention that I wanted to set for the session? And I really didn't have one, to be honest. I just usually go in as a blank slate. And just in talking, it came up. And what my intention was to really and truly pay attention to putting myself first. And then we talked about why I don't do that very often. So that was absolutely incredible. And when he noticed something about my body, because I'm not fully aware, I'm aware of the pain in my back, but nothing else, he would stop me and he's like, so what are you feeling in your body? And I'm like, well, I'm feeling whatever I'm feeling, I would express it. And he's like, where do you think that's coming from? So it was absolutely great. Got me to focus in on me. And the biggest thing for me was discovering why I'm really and truly in this field of mental health. Psychology is my background, as most of you know. If you don't know, well, welcome. Psychology is my background. And it was just really incredible because typically I tell people that I got into this field because I talk a lot. And psychology disciplined me in the area of now listening to what people say and what they don't say. However, working with this clinician, I've discovered that's not accurate. I was in this field a long time before I even knew anything about this field. So from the age of 3, that really had an impact on me, and it's just carried through life. And it was just incredible to really know where it came from,
Mm,
you
I
know.
love
And
that.
then, yeah, and then it's having this 5-hour conversation with a pastor. She really solidified it. So it was an eye-opening weekend. I'm still sitting with all of it, and it's making sense. Just areas from my past and how I've been. It makes sense together now. All of it together makes sense. So I am where I'm supposed to be, and this is my purpose
I love
that I'm
it.
living. So that was awesome.
I love it. It goes perfectly with what I'm gonna like kind of put out there for people. That if you want to be a guest or you want to sponsor, I love that how you explain psychosomatic the session. Thanks for people who are watching. If you missed what Raquel just said, listen again. Because really we have talked about mindset and we have talked on the show for the past 2 years that, who we are and what we're up to is no accident, right? And Raquel shared something very huge that, she had this of saying that, she's in the field of psychology and caring about making a difference for people and mental health and all of that. And, she just enjoyed talking to people, but really it comes from something way back. And we've talked about this for a long time ago. And some of you, if you may or may not know, Raquel and I, every once in a while, the first 2 years, we did some really incredible private workshops. And so we talk about how we become the way we are, or we do certain things the way we do because of something, some type of thing that happened when we were a child. And she got to notice in her psychosomatic session that around the age of 3 is where that really has solidified for her. And then having a whole other conversation with her amazing pastor, one definitely coincides with the other. People might say that's coincidental, but really the energy fields are there. And that conversation was happened. And then the pastor who she met with absolutely was able to tie that in. So totally open for the pastor, sis, for coming on. Totally love to have a psychosomatic, person, that person that you're
She's
talking
not
about.
that person. It was 2 different. She's
No,
not
that's what
the
I'm saying. Love to
psychosomatic.
have the pastor for one thing, and then you're
Yeah.
the person who did psychosomatic session.
Okay.
That's a really fun as we're planning on 2026. So super fun. And I definitely am excited to say that it kind of goes into our episode of 117 as we're closing out this month of turning setbacks into setups. And that's tonight, boys and girls, with Raquel and I. And I really just heard you be able to talk about like something that you thought for so long, might have not been a setback, right? But just something you're thinking about for so long, all of a sudden turned a different direction and has now set you up to kind of sit with that and really be like, you're really like taking that in and you're like, yeah. And for me, I'm talking about like you're set up for that success that you are, and that you're going to continue to build, and things that you're working on are going to come into fruition in a whole more like deeper way. I'm really excited about that. So yeah, very,
Kind of
very,
cool.
very cool. I love all
We,
that stuff.
you've got some exciting news.
I
Do
do,
you want to
people.
share? I don't want no pressure.
No pressure. So for those of you who do not know, thanks. But I do want to thank everybody because many of our listeners are people that have been long time committed with us, and follow us on Instagram and YouTube, our private channel and our Facebook page. Today I launched officially the conversation of the book that I wrote, the children's book called My Mommy Donated Her Kidney. And I'll just put that up there for you. Ready? Boom. My mommy donated her kidney. That is the cover of that. I shared that with you guys. Raquel got me to share that a couple of weeks ago, but it officially got launched today to say save the date. Save the date on Monday, August 11th. And I'm going to say to you guys, If you follow us in Rise and Thrive Together, or if you follow me personally, I'm going to ask you to find it and watch the reel. I had a setback. This has been a setback of 4 years ago. I did something great. I donated a kidney and I got downloaded with this book, and I've been set back for a good 3 years. I'm set up with my deep friend over here and co-host, mentor, and all of it to have it come to fruition. And it's been a year in the making, about a little less than a year, but almost a year in the making of really moving that forward. And then I got sick this weekend. Raquel and I had some call, and my phone went out, and I got sick, and I was set back again. And it was really a brilliant way of kind of taking, like you were saying, sis, putting myself first, taking care of myself. That setback had me realize I had to completely have the house quiet, have Lexi taken care of, utilizing my husband, utilizing my community of friends and families, and literally have them out for the weekend, which I really was able to take care of myself in a way that I know I could take care of myself. My husband did great, but like the way I needed it. And I got better quick. Raquel, you heard me on the phone, right? It was like one of those like, ugh. And I took a great advice from her with the herbal teas. But it got me to really just kind of sit back and realize this is really important for me. It's not about me and the book. It's really about the importance of educating our children and having them feel confident and not be scared of the things that they might see their parents do, like having some type of surgery, or something that they're going through. It's a way of talking about kindness and compassion and helping others, which is Rise and Thrive is about. And most of all, it kind of hit me that I want this in the schools. I want these in the hospitals. I want these in organizations, because I didn't have that available for me when I was trying to tell Lexi. And I just want to thank everybody out there, because I put it out there. I learned how to do an Instagram reel with a voiceover and typing. People know me. That's not my jam. And I did it. That setback of I can't, I don't know how, that mindset. I'm going to be honest with you, 4 hours. So what you see on there, which everybody is so beautiful and says is so great, 4 consistent, committed hours.
Wow.
That's what that took for most people out there. Yes, you could say you could have called me. But no, this was, so now there's that setback set me up, sis, for this confidence. I have this new confidence. And I'm now set up again for the next reel for next, a week away, and then the day of. And I'm just really moved and emotional, because there was over 100 comments, over 100 people that wrote on the reels just in one place. And I posted it in many places. And the one thing Raquel doesn't know is I have a TikTok account. Nobody knows I have a TikTok account. And that was my first post today on TikTok. And I have
Nice.
people following me that don't even know me. So this guy is really, whatever that setback is, there's an opportunity to set you up for success. And that cough could have took me out, that cold could have took me out, but I was committed for this date, a very specific reason. And I did put myself first, sis, like really. And I'm proud that you're like, why aren't you doing that for yourself? Like, like why? So yeah, I just thank you for having me share that. And thank you for everybody who has been, posting. And so feel free, save the date, August 11th. We'll be here on the show. Link will be dropped. QR codes will be dropped. Let's get it out to everybody. Let's get it out so that, people can realize that things aren't as scary as they seem.
Absolutely.
Yay.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Now, through this month, we've had 2 really special guests.
Yes.
And so I'll ask you with Elisa, what was it that had you go, that's a new way for me to see setbacks?
Ooh. That should make me go and think all the way back to the beginning of the month with Elisa. I've known Elisa for a really long time. So I don't want to pull back from what I know of her. I'm thinking of that particular episode. Um, you know what I really loved? The thing that hit me with Elisa was during her setback, you know, she was doing all of this like work. She was like, she said that she researched everything, every doctor, every alternative path, every every single thing. And I now that you said that out loud to me and I'm speaking out loud, it was her subconsciously helping me this weekend. Like there was never a I'm not this isn't going to happen, right? Like the doctor says she's never going to walk again. And she might have a moment or a little bit longer than a moment to say, but then she knew deep inside, no, that's not how I'm going to have my life go. I'm going to
Mhm.
move forward. So that overall concept for her about how she just kept on researching and research and putting herself first, that thing about like, where she's just like, I realized I needed to truly take care of myself and leave the whole situation. Again, not that I left my husband, right? But I literally was like, you and Lexi need to leave the house. Like I needed that alone space, not even like my room, but the whole space. Like go out and go enjoy the summer that we have here in Florida. So I really subconsciously now I just thought about that. That's really what I left with her. Like I probably would have had my room and they would have been in the house.
Mhm.
But like to have them leave, that worked for them too, like fun and for them and have that whole space to myself, knowing no interruptions, that was huge. So that's what I took away from that one for me. And I don't think I
Okay.
would have ever done that.
Got that. That's awesome.
What about you?
For me, I'll take something from Victor, and not that I
Yeah.
didn't get anything
No, no,
from
no. Yeah.
Elisa, but from Victor, what I got was he left us with grace and grit.
Yes.
And it's about giving yourself that grace when you have a setback. Instead of beating yourself up, allow yourself that space to say, you know what, it's okay. Um, I messed up because that's what most people are going to say, or use another or use an explicative. But I messed up. But give yourself the grace to know that you're not the only one who messes up. Give yourself the grace to know it's not your first time and it won't be your last time messing up.
Yeah.
It's in and Reg and I have talked about it being in the failures and the mess ups that we learn a lesson. And then when he mentioned grit, because he said the two G's, when he talked about grit, grit means bearing down and hunkering down and going forth in spite of that setback. So that setback is not going to hold you back. We've talked about this and we've said this several times on the show this month. A setback is a setup for a comeback. And when you come back stronger because your mindset is different. You've worked through a challenge, you've overcome that challenge. And that does, you come out a different person at the end, on the other side, I should say. So when he mentioned grace and grit, those two really, really stuck with me.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. And then that's one of the things I hear often that most people don't give themselves grace. We spend more time, you know, in the setback and making the setback wrong and having lots of conversations, what you didn't do right, or if there's any other people involved, making them wrong, and getting in that hamster wheel, right? Of wrong, 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 this is horrible, so on and so forth, rather than taking a breath and being like, okay, you know,
Right.
made a mistake. This person made a mistake, whatever that is. Let's just take a moment. And it's not always easy, especially when it comes out hard. We're not saying any of this is easy. We're saying that these are the things that when you start to, I like to say, kind of rewire your brain and be like, oh, grace and grit. That's like I'm going to have that mantra for me, grace and grit. What does that mean for me? Let's journal that and see what that means for me. Let's talk it out loud and see what that means for me. Let me see what it looks like for the first hour in my life, whatever I made that look like for me. And then keep on working with that. Not like a once or twice, but a continuous piece. That's part of our mindset stuff. So I really love that one. Grace and grit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And something else that as I was looking up setbacks and really and truly kind of digging in to what that means is to acknowledge the reality of the setback.
Yes.
It happened, and setbacks are a part of our journey. Like I just said a few minutes ago, the setback sets you up for the comeback. So
Yeah.
without that setback laying the foundation, we would just be coasting through. But everything we can't just coast through, right? I have a friend, he always says, "Oh, I'm just coasting." I'm like, what does that mean? Because I know what it means in my head, but I need to know what coasting means to him. And you can't just coast through life, right? Because to me, that sounds like you're just laying back and chilling. Wherever the wind blows you, that's where you're going. But at some point, you have to stand your ground and you have to stand for something. And what is that?
Yeah.
And do it with intention. Intention is a big word that a lot of people are using. That's one of the it words. So do it with intention and know the purpose of doing it. Not just doing it just because, but there's got to be a purpose to it, right? So one thing we want to tell you is acknowledge the reality of the setbacks. It happened. They're part of the journey. It's not the end of the world. And even after you had the setback, guess what? You're still standing. That says a lot.
Yeah.
You may have been bent, but you're not broken.
Yep.
And even in brokenness, I love talking about brokenness because
Yes.
even in the brokenness, there's the beauty of it. You know what I mean? When you break a mirror and you smile in that mirror, the mirror smiles right back at you. That reflection is still smiling back at you. So acknowledge it and understand that it's just a part of the journey.
I love that. Yeah, now I've got the whole, like we've talked about this a long time ago, from the mirror to I saw something a long time ago where it's like we're all this giant, because I love music, right? And I'm a disco girl, a disco ball, right? Break it into, like she says, break the mirror, break the disco ball. It's still pieces that is shining. You're looking in that mirror, that disco ball is that mirror as well. It's shining. A light gets shined on it. You are the beginning of that light. And if you are not feeling that light, this is why we call ourselves Rise and Thrive Together. Why we say we're a committed community. Having that one person, and I'm clear, somebody out there, we all say, I don't have anybody, right? I don't have anybody, but you do. You do. It's just that setback, that little mindset, that thing that's like, I don't, and I'm going to like challenge a lot of people out there to say, why don't we call people? Why don't we pick up? Because I've had a lot of people say this to me lately, because you seem so busy and I don't want to bother you. Somebody raise their hand up there or write in the comments because you seem so busy, right? Seem so busy. So if you really, like she said, really are committed to yourself, putting yourself first, loving yourself, knowing that you're worth it, that you are the purpose. What's the big deal if you call somebody? They answer, great. If they don't answer, leave a message. If you text them, they don't hear from you, or they will, and then they'll call. Whatever that may be. But I promise you, that whole thing. And Chrissy just said, "Yup." I don't know, Chrissy, if you're the one who says, "Yup, I don't call people because I'm afraid they're too busy. I don't want to bother them," or if you're agreeing. But yeah, do that. Do that. And that's why
Absolutely.
we're a community.
And think about it this way, reframe the narrative. So, Reg, I'm going to throw this to you.
Yeah.
You could have let your sickness prevent you from spending 4 hours doing reels. But somewhere in all of that, you reframe the narrative. You
Mhm.
saw it differently. You learned how to rise above. You learned how to be wiser and you got grounded, more grounded than you did before because that's not, you said that's not in your wheelhouse, is
Yeah.
doing reels and voiceovers and all of that. So
Yeah.
how did you reframe the narrative? I know you asked everyone to give you some space, but now it's just you in the space that you asked for. How did you reframe the narrative?
I am so clear, guys, on thank you, Raquel, for asking that question. You know, we talk about limiting beliefs inside of mindset. So just to let you know, guys, it's that little voice in your head that says, I can't, I won't, I'll never, like pick one of those versions. I have very loudly can hear that. Like, I'm unable to, I
Mhm.
can't do this. I'm not smart enough is my biggest, loudest voice. I'm not smart enough. Not that I'm not capable, it's I'm not smart enough. And that then absolutely gets me to like get away with everything. I'm not smart enough, so I get to like sit back and, wah, 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 and like, go procrastinate or really be upset about things and don't go anywhere. I heard that so loud and clear being alone. So loud and clear. Like it was like
Mhm.
laying there and like cough, 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 and hearing that. And I know it so well. And because of being committed to the work that we do and the work that we're talking about, we're not empowering, educating, equipping you. That starts with me, like Raquel says. We have to be the demonstration. We don't have to, but we choose to, right? I choose to be my own best client. That I was like, no. Like it was like really loud and then a big cough and a big sigh and it just downloaded. It was like, oh, I can get away with this. I literally can
Mhm.
watch the new movie that was on, which I was getting there, and I was feeling better. And I can either just sit there and whine and cry and do that and then stress myself out and Monday come and bother Josh or call up Joey, do all that stuff, bother you, like all of that. And I just was like, that whole I'm not smart enough, the other higher self was like, yeah, and you're capable of doing this. And that was like, whoa, where did that come from? Right? It was like, oh, I'm capable. Just take one small step. And
Mm.
I get choked up thinking about that. And I was like, okay, what is that? Right? And just sat there quietly. And I was like, oh, I use a particular AI app that helps me like kind of sort through stuff. And I was like, okay, this AI has the information about my book. So I just went on to this particular AI and I was like, hey, I want to do X, Y, and Z, and I want this. And can you suggest me some ways of doing this? And it was like Instagram reel right away. And I was like,
Wow.
ah, right. And then it was the next thing, heard it loud. And then the next one was, I am capable. It went
Mm.
from I'm not smart to I am capable. And I don't know if it was us or something I've done in the past week or two, but it was changing those statements. I think you spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, from this to this. So it was like
Mm.
when I hear I'm not smart, it's automatically I get to look in the mirror, say it out loud, write it down. I am capable.
Mm.
And that's my overall theme, guys. I'm going to put myself out there. I always think I'm not smart as I'm not smart enough. And the overall big one, I'm not smart.
Mm.
So then I don't do what I, really, 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 really in my heart want to do. And I suffer. So now it's, I am capable. And I am. If it's as capable as calling Raquel to ask for help or capable of trying it, what is the worst case scenario? And I failed, guys, 4 hours. But it was like, I don't know about you, Raquel. It was fun. It was like at first I was annoyed, and at first I was like, "I'm going to do this." That's me. Like I'm like one of those like don't want to play Monopoly with me, like that kind of girl. And it was like first frustrating, and then it was like that other game of, "Oh, I'm going to do this." And every time I got cocky about it and got in my head about it and became all ego-minded about it, oh, God had so much fun with me. Disappeared. Couldn't find the song. Couldn't get back
Wow.
into Instagram. Like all of that fun stuff. Then it was like, I just got committed, and it was like my why. And I just sat with that, and it was like, why? This isn't about you. This is really about the educating and letting and helping people know, and the organizations that are waiting for this book that asked me about this. And then I was like, all right, God, it's in your hands. I'm just going to do this step by step. And I literally went step by step, 2 screens up, step by step, phone, found it, saved it, took a picture of it, did it again, and then didn't even know about the voiceover. That was just the normal. And then as I went all up, I go to like not do it, and at the bottom there's some record button, and I was like, hey, there's a record button at the bottom of my phone. I think it says voiceover. How do you do that? And it was like, you can. And then it separated, and I was like,
That's
now Raquel,
awesome.
just want everybody to know, Raquel did not expect me. Because Raquel knows we got a whole bunch of stuff to do. And I'm like, oh, Regina, you could do it. 4 hours. And I can. Committed to something, and I will. But I
That's
get,
so awesome.
right? So,
That's amazing. Amazing. I love it. So now I know who to call when I'm ready to do that.
yes, I can get you to that.
But here's a challenge that Reg and I want to put out to you. And that is this week, we want you to name one setback you've been carrying. And for those of you that have the journal, feel free to put it in your journal. If you are part of our Rise and Thrive Together community, put it in there, right? But this week, did I say this week? This week, we're not dilly-dallying and delaying. This week, we want you to name one setback that you've been carrying and ask yourself, what did I learn from it? How did it shape me? Sit with it, honor it, and then go use it. And let us know how that worked out for you. So I'll run it again. You guys got the this week, right?
I got
We
this.
want we want you to name one setback that you've been carrying and ask yourself these questions. What did I learn from it? How did it shape me? And we want you to sit with that, honor it, and then use it.
All right, I'm typing it out so people can see it. And then we are going to put this in the Rise and Thrive Together community. And it'll also be on our Instagram and our Facebook page so that you guys can go to the community to do this work, right? So we're going to stay on a couple of minutes more so we can get that, because I'm going to write it here. So for replayers, one setback. What is one setback that you are, I don't know how to spell, that you are carrying? I love that you are carrying. And then what are the questions that go with it?
Ask yourself, what did I learn from it? How did it shape me? And then you're going to sit with that, you're going to honor it, and then you're going to use it.
All right, we're going to put that up at the end of the show, which is awesome. And since we're doing challenges, sis, you and I are going to do this. This is the real talk, guys. We have talked about this, but we didn't confirm it. You and I talked about a possible really cool challenge starting in August. So the next time we are together is in August, right? I think it's August 4th or something like that, next Monday. And I think there was some challenge in journaling. Is that something that we want to share with the audience?
We'll share it in our community.
Ooh.
How about that? So those of you that are not a part of the community, become a part of the community. Since where do they go to join our awesome community?
Super easy, guys. Y'all know Rise and Thrive Together, right? Rise and Thrive Together. Now when you type into Facebook in the little search bar, it's Rise and Thrive Together community. That's it. Then you will be right there waiting to be approved, and we will check you out to make sure that you're real and not a bot, and approve you in there, and that's where it'll be. So we're going to have a challenge of exactly what Raquel said about setbacks. Let's powerfully find one that has been sitting there holding you, setting you back, and then answering those 3 awesome questions, kind of being with it for a little bit and chilling with it, and then see what comes out of that. And we've got a very cool challenge that starts up in August. It gives you the opportunity to really dive deep, do some of the work that Raquel and I have been doing, and
we still do.
Yeah, we always do. I mean, we do it in every way, shape, or form. That's why we're here. That's why we have the show. And it's an opportunity to really, like, we've worked our time, right? We've worked our time to create the journal for ourselves, but really to also for you guys. And many of you guys out there have bought the journal. We thank you so much for doing that. And many of you have put in the group and have shared with us personally. And this is an opportunity for you guys to do that, to purchase real easy again. If you open up Amazon, I think everybody here has used Amazon. I will be surprised if you have not used Amazon. And guess what you put in there? Rise and Thrive Together. And pop up is our journal. Really fabulous, fabulous journal. No matter where you buy it, it's not like starting from January. It starts exactly where you are right now. And so we've worked really hard with 2 other collaborators, Joey Lewis and Hal Eisenberg, so that we can educate and empower and equip you to have the results that you want, like the ones that I just got to share today with you, the ones that Raquel shares all the time and is continuing to share, and many of you have shared with us. We want to know your wins. We want to know where you're set back in. And we want to have you rise and thrive. So I'm excited, sis. And August is going to be awesome. We got some great guests. I'm excited for next month.
Absolutely. And here's what we want to leave you. We want to encourage you to keep showing up. Even on the days you don't feel like it. Those are the days that you really need to show up, because it shows your strength and your courage and your commitment.
Yeah.
So keep showing up, keep growing. And if this or any of our episodes have touched you, please share it. Share it with your friends. Let people know that setbacks are a part of life and that strength comes from moving through the setback.
Yes.
All right. And remember, you are not behind. You are being refined.
Woo! We got to get shirts. We're not behind. I love that.
Just being refined. That's all. But we thank you all so much for being here with us tonight and always. We appreciate you and all that you add to the show. So thank you all so much. But remember something that I always say, and it's so true. It's only together that we can rise and thrive. Till next time.
You see, it's all